Okay, we are live. So welcome to Reiki 1. I wanted you to do something and just thank yourself for taking the first step by even being here and being open to hearing about this. Welcome to those of you that just walked in. I wanted to start with a couple quotes that are just going to kind of open us up to different modes of thinking. These are two people I really respect, so feel free to take notes as we go through. And you can also look into these people from this day forward if you haven't heard of them already. They have written books that you can check out, or you can go online and access their videos. So I wanted to start with a quote by my guy, Nikola Tesla. So he was an inventor. He was killed mysteriously, but he was also very ahead of his time. And so amazing teacher, but he was known for kind of being a genius, but he was thinking and teaching in terms of energy, trying to let people know that, like, yes, what we see going on around us there is physical things happening, but there is also an energy, and everything is made up of atoms and molecules that is holding it all together, right? So I like this quote: if your hate could be turned into electricity, it would light up the whole world. And as a practitioner, as a healer, I have learned that we don't necessarily ditch our shadows when we heal. We don't necessarily deny the pain that we've been through. We actually transmute it. We actually turn it into part of our life, into part of our story. We heal it, we see it, and then we integrate it into our new being. We are not running away from parts of ourselves. And so I like this quote with the word hate, because quite literally, we can learn to transmute hate into love and utilize that to heal ourselves and each other. This is Dolores Cannon. She is an amazing teacher. But I'd like to just read this to you, that Earth is a school for mastering how to manipulate energy. So this is built around the belief that this is not our home. We are going somewhere when we die. You know, this is my belief system. We all begin with God and are sent out to learn and experience. Painful sometimes. Many other planets have easier courses of learning. Earth School is the most difficult in the universe. Only the bravest souls sign on for this assignment. So our path on Earth is like a giant circle with no beginning and no end. We are eternal. Our spirits can never die or be destroyed. We are all fellow travelers in this game of life, and our destinies are intertwined. So don't be afraid of shining. Don't be afraid of being powerful. And don't be afraid of being more special. All right, so if you want to write on any white space on these papers, I'd like to go through the chakra system. So take any notes you want. You can obviously look this up later, or maybe we could forward it in an email or something like this. So we each have a system of energy called a chakra point. Chakra means wheel. So these are spinning centers of energy in each of our bodies that we all have that can get out of whack. They can shut down due to trauma. They can be wide open in situations where you're trying to not intake that much stuff. Each of them are connected to different parts of your emotional and physical well-being and healing. And so I wanted to go over this because when you start practicing Reiki, chakra points are a great place to start working on. So we're going to start with our crown chakra. This is our chakra if you want to touch on the top of your head. This is where we intake our information. So sometimes, you know, when you pray or if you just meditate or sit with yourself and you have that like aha idea, you're pulling in through your crown. All right. We're going to go, and then that color, it's purple on here. I usually see it as white. When you close your eyes, you see more of a white color. Okay. And then we're going to move down to our third eye. So our third eye is right here. This is how we navigate through the world and start seeing the truth of really what is. So our third eye, I'm going to turn down these violins for a second. I love it. Beautiful, but okay. Wait, just a tiny bit. Okay. Okay. So our third eye center is how we're intaking truth and seeing through situations that maybe we couldn't navigate. So have you ever been in a situation where you're making a large decision, but you may feel like someone is misleading you, or you may feel like you just need more clarity, things like this, like you're not seeing the truth. You're you know, when your insides don't match what you're seeing and you just need that answer, that's all going to come in through your third eye. So the cleaner we keep this guy right here, the more we can navigate through this world without, you know, being too blown off course. That is an indigo color. And then I'm going to go through these colors because to bring out certain qualities of yourself, you can use color theory and you can incorporate these colors. So say you want to, once we get to solar plexus, say you want to grow your solar plexus or step more into that, then you're going to start maybe buying yellow flowers, eating more lemons, wearing yellow. It sounds silly, but it actually really is working with energy and pulling that out. So we're moving to our throat chakra. This is your communication center. But what happens when we communicate is we communicate from our head a lot. We communicate from stress. We communicate from not always our heart. And so our throat chakra being intact actually connects our heart and our throat. So we're able to say things with love and convey our truth actually much more quickly and directly without all the extra ego, fighty, I'm hurt type energy. It also helps you be heard. Trauma over the years, and when I say trauma, I mean being born can be a trauma. Trauma over the years can actually shut down your throat chakra. It's super common. And then we get blocked here because of all those years of holding back. When you want to say something, you know, it is your right to say something. You are a human being, you're special, you're here. We get stuck in hierarchy with bosses, and it's like, you know, causing your own block to your real body that can in turn cause disease later. Like for who? Do you know what I mean? So this is about choosing yourself as well. Choosing and healing this, and be expecting to maybe say some things that, you know, you're like, oh, what? You're expressing yourself. Heart chakra, another chakra, green, that shuts down through trauma. When we can't trust those around us at an early age or things like this, we tend to close down our heart chakras. And this actually limits our intake of information. So we have not accurate reads on people all the time. We may think people are trying to slight us when they're not. These are traits of a closed down heart chakra. Paranoia, ungrounded, you know, working out of survival. I got to do this because I got to do this because I got to do this. You're not doing anything you want to when your heart chakra is closed. And this is actually what I believe and what this teaching believes to be the center of the body. It's not the brain, it's actually the heart. Scientifically, you know, the brain sends waves and is like, hey, heart, is it okay? So even the brain's checking in with the heart. So got to make sure the heart's good. Solar plexus chakra is your confidence, lion, lioness, life path. Get out of my way. I'm tired of listening to other people. I need to do what is best for me. Chakra. So when you are like, oh, putting yourself in a corner, putting yourself on the back burner for other people, this is a good chakra to work. Gold color. If you notice, I made the PowerPoint yellow, bright yellow, almost obnoxious. Just because it really pops that color, that feeling. So we all have inner wisdom, inner guidance. What happens to us? We know the answer. It's our confidence that's like, you know, how often you know, but then, so this being intact is going to allow you to take that physical action that, you know, gets you where you need to be. We're moving down to our sacral. Sacral can be closed off due to, which I know is sometimes taboo to talk about, but sexual trauma is actually super, super common. And now it is being talked about more. But this can block your creativity, not just creativity with art, but creativity with ideas, creativity with new ideas for your life, where to go, things like this. And it's also your sexual center, but your sexual identity, your sexual balance. Are we leaning too masculine when we're more of a natural feminine energy? Are we leaning too feminine, you know, to balance that out, whatever is natural to you? And that's also why I like Reiki, is you're not balancing anyone out to a perfect zero. You're balancing them out to their specific soul's highest good. So if it is in their best interest to lean a little masculine inside, that's what the Reiki will change this into. If it is in their soul's benefit to, yeah. So it chooses, it, by I mean God, say source, the creator energy, one.
Is this why some people change their gender, you know?
Yes, because exactly. And that's poignant because what you're observing is them healing into maybe a more true version of themselves. And it can be confusing because when we're healing the inside, and our insides may not match, you know? And so also, I'm a person where I think if it's too extreme, I think we're all somewhere, you know, in the middle. That's my own personal belief. But right, they're kind of healing more into identifying that way. And I've experienced a shift a bit of this myself, and it feels like it is a bit out of your control. You know, it's once you give yourself to this path of like, hey, I want to be my best self, you know, the universe, God, it hears that and it pulls you there. And it may not look like the person you planned it to be. We're going to go down to our root chakras. Everyone on Earth's root chakra is just shaken up. We feel unsafe every day, especially in a city. There's this awesome article, I should pin it, but it's talking about like how cities cause psychosis, just like by the book, like the noise, the air, the very overpopulated. That's a lot of energy in one spot. And so we're always off of our equilibrium. So our root chakra is a deep red color, and this helps us feel safe. It helps us trust, but it is like a really good foundation. Also, being grounded is very important in Reiki. Everyone wants to go high. Everyone wants to transcendental meditate and tap in and do this. Great. But you have got to ground, because what are we doing with all this information we're grabbing up here during the meditations and prayers? We need to pull it down. We need to apply it. We need to bring it into the physical, build what we see for ourselves, right? So grounding is very important. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise. The deeper you ground, the higher you're able to go freely. And all of this is going to be enhanced, all of your Reiki, what you see, what you hear, the messages you receive is all going to be intensified in how often you meditate, how often you sit with yourself, and how often you put this into practice. This is like almost like a sport. You have to practice, and your intuition will grow through this. I'm going to have, if you don't mind, after this, at some point, send out hand charts. Okay, can we do
Yes.
that's possible? Okay, cool. So there are hand positions you're going to be getting in an email that you can practice with. So I like people to trust their intuition. I'm a believer, like, if you put a plant and you want it to grow, you give it as much space and it grows bigger than you thought, right? So intuition, trust yourselves. There are Reiki hand positions that you can practice once you start channeling that energy. These positions are by the book. They're Usui lineage, which is my lineage of Reiki, which isn't really important today. But you can also follow your intuition. So if you are guided to put your hands here or here, please do that as well. So that is just a good place to start for those of you that like, you know, that style of learning. I'm going to drink some water for a second. And then if everyone wants to take a look at our symbols, and then we're going to go into practice for a bit. Before we move into symbols, does anyone have any questions?
You're recording this, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh. I think I missed it, because I only saw two.
Well, then we'll just see if I just go on.
I was listening to somebody else.
Those are right, but there was a third one, I thought, unless
There's a third page, but this word, on the third page.
leave that. That's fine. 2, 3, 4. Actually, gonna draw the third one. Don't mind me.
That's good. You're very artistic.
Every time I see it, it looks like nothing's. Because it's been building for years before COVID. Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah. So like it's a community.
Your church pencil good. Great. Okay. All right, so we will be going into the practical of Reiki. I'll teach you how to channel it and call it in. First, though, I'd like to hit some symbols because when you are practicing Reiki, the magic number in the spiritual realm, in the God realm, you know, the Trinity, it's 3s, 7s, but lots of 3s. And so usually I like to do these symbols 3 times in a row. So that's my little method. I will do the symbol over my hand 3 times in a row and then start working. Or I will do the symbol over the spot of the body I'm working on 3 times in a row. And it will intend that symbol into that space energetically. So we have 3 symbols we're working with today. We're going to learn a couple more in our next class because in the next class, we're going to learn how to do distance Reiki, where you can send Reiki anywhere. So science. Yeah. So this is spiritual, I always say, but it's science. All right. So Choku Rei is your power symbol. So anything, say you're scanning the body, which you'll understand once we go through this. Say you're scanning the body and you sense that someone is so weak in their solar plexus, their confidence is just so small. You want to put some power there for them. This is the symbol you would use. All right. So the arrows are just showing you the way you move your hands. So you can follow this. We're going to go 1 to the right. We're going to go straight down. And then we do 3 spirals, 2, 3 to the left. Awesome. We're going to go through it again. Start over here. We're going to go to the right 1, down, and then we're going to go 3 spirals to the left. And 1 more from the left corner to the right. Take it down, and then 3 spirals into your left. And what you have done is just intended and opened the energy for extra power to be implanted for that person from the divine, from Reiki, from healing energy. So, rules of this. Intaking our left side. A lot of, how do I say, chronic pain and stuff can be on our left side because this is how we pull in. We're putting out with our right. So sometimes your moves intuitively to use both hands. Sometimes, you know, you want to pull in, how do I say, pull in and push out from this hand. That's another fine move you might be told to use. But for the Reiki symbols, I use my right hand to draw them. Just that's what I do. I don't think that matters. As long as your intention is to open it. And it's more so, if we want to get technical, the spiral that matters. You're moving that to the left, which is an opening, move, basically.
Where you hold your hand.
No, so some people want their whole, you can get creative. I'm all out of the camera. But some people want their whole room covered in like some power session, you know, so anyone that walks through that door is like, yeah, they can do it to the walls with their hand intending this. What was your question? I'm sorry, I got it.
Did it make a difference where you were, where your hands were placed, basically?
And the thing is, each of our gifts are a little different. And so you're going to do this a little bit differently than, you know, your neighbor, which is be open to that. Be open to trusting, like, why do I want to do it like this? Do it like that.
I like how you say, if people come through this door, you want them to have the power. But you got, you know, the way society is, you got a negative group of people. Is there something we can do at the door to
Yes, there is. Protection, grounding, things like this. Yeah, and you know what? The Reiki symbol, we can use that to intend a lot. And that is like a very quick grounding bolt, but it also is a very metaphysical symbol. So you can ask it. I mean, if you want to get really wild, you can ask it to reveal snakes in your circle when they walk through the door. I mean, okay, just saying. So, this is knowledge that is kept back. So there are people working in this realm on a regular day to day, and you walk in rooms and you're like, why do I feel like crap? Because they have some stuff in there that, because it's not common knowledge, it's so crazy that people would do that. It's easy to hide it. So just saying.
So what do you do? I want to do something, so what do you do then? All this negative stuff's coming in.
Well, I'm gonna go over protection with you guys when we go into Reiki, because protection is not a joke to me. So, yes.
I'm not done yet.
Yeah. As you know, you deal with things all day, every day that are not just completely physical, or you're like, yeah, okay. I mean, you wouldn't be here if you didn't feel something, I think. Okay. So say hey key is your second symbol. This one is a little bit more difficult to do, but not bad once you get the hang of it. This is for when you're dealing with something hurty, traumatic, emotional, even the pain. When you're pain, you can feel it's almost attached to sadness, or it makes you feel sometimes angry, sad. This is a symbol you're going to want to use. Huh?
Are we saying the symbol or?
Yes, I will go through it. I'm just waiting. People are writing some stuff down. Just making sure everyone's good. So this is the second symbol on your page on the back. So this is a two-part symbol. So it's almost like a 5 with a little hook on top. So we're gonna hook down. You can follow the paper over. We're gonna go down again to the left, draw a 5. We're gonna take the same hand up. We're going to take it down in a curve, and then we're going to draw 2 little bumps. 1, 2. Try again. Hook it down. Just follow your paper to the right. Go into that 5. Awesome. Start over to the left. We're going to take it around and down, and 2 little bumps. Boom, boom. Awesome. And sometimes you'll picture light, sometimes you'll picture fire, sometimes you'll picture water. What element is ever present in your being might pop up at this point. Follow that. Bump, and one last bump. Awesome. And that will be placed over anywhere that is, or a person that is needing comfort, or yourself needing comfort. The third symbol, Reiki, I use to ground, but it is also an intention symbol. So it intensifies anything that you do intent. So like I said, if you wanted to put up a barrier for protection, but I'm going to go over how I do protection, but this is another way, a barrier for protection over a door. You can use the Reiki symbol intending that. But also at the end of your session, you might feel a little lightheaded, or you want to come back down into your body quicker. That Reiki symbol is going to help you ground quicker. So you can always ground by touching your feet. We'll go over that. But Reiki is a symbol that intends it to happen quicker. All right. So we're going to draw this. We're going to start here, and it's going to follow like a lightning bolt. So we're going to come down, lightning over. Yeah, lightning over, and then we're going to go down and wipe it. Yep, you kind of swipe it down. We're going to take it again, over 1, over 2, over 3, and swipe. Yes. One more time. 1, 2, 3, and swipe. Awesome. So these will come easier with practice. You're gonna actually feel the energy difference between them once you start getting used to them. I wouldn't be surprised if when you use the emotional one a lot, it might start pulling some stuff. That's okay. Little tears might come. That's all good. Let it out. I wanted to close just with something I wrote. It's the ability to heal the self is within us all, and the ability to tap into the healing consciousness that binds us all together. We are created in one image, so we're also healing in one image. So when you heal yourself, the people around you start healing. It's not about the output as much as we think it is. How can we help someone be okay if we're not okay? Giving from an empty cup, they call it. So when you heal, you, yes, become the example, but you also become strong enough to then teach others and help others see that they are not just victims to their circumstance, that we are actually given gifts and things that we can use, from a higher source, from our maker. We're not just here aimlessly. So just to plug into this, to practice plugging into this wherever you are on your own journey. I actually would like to share that I was raised in the church, and then many years away from the church, anti-church, did my own thing, actually got into this spiritual journey on this like more darker side. My friends were into different things, and I realized I had some gifts, but what's funny is the further I went, the lighter I became, and I started healing, and then I started feeling, angels, and it was the divine. It pulled me back through these really dark means, it was pretty crazy. And so wherever you are on your journey, I welcome you to try this, because where you are now is not where you're going to end up. To see ourselves in one another, it's freedom. We're shedding ego. It's like, looking for community change. With Reiki energy healing, I do want to say, in your own time, you can even put it out into your community. You can picture a bubble of safety with your imagination. A lot of it is our imagination. And this in turn helps us visualize what we're doing energetically. And so we can create safety domes around our neighborhoods. We can picture plants growing. We can picture people being kind to each other. We can put out all of that loving energy as well. Yes. All right, so any questions before I go to the practical, how we're gonna start calling it in? And so we're gonna start calling it in and feeling it, but I think it's more important to me too right now that you really remember what we're doing, so you can practice at your own time. So if you need to write anything down, don't feel weird about, like, if we're zoning out, scribble stuff down, feel free to do all that. So early on in life, they crush your ability for visualization by telling you that you daydream too much, that you got to do this, you got to do that. But actually, visualization is a billionaire's tactic that they use to manifest a lot of things. So this is actually going to help us intend our healing. It's going to help you kind of heal some inner child stuff, but also using your imagination more is just going to strengthen your abilities to channel. So for protection, whatever belief you subscribe to, we're going to call in first. I always call in Mother Earth to ground us, because we are on Earth. So I'm going to do that now. So if everyone wants to kind of close their eyes, and we're just going to visualize this together. Okay, sure. in, relax. You don't have to do anything or be anyone right now. Just show up as you are. Hold Mother Earth here and picture her just coming up and beneath our feet, just pressing into her. You're in a chair, just picture your bottom connecting with the chair. Feel that grounded. And then at this point, for protection, I call God in to protect us. Other people may call in their spirit guides. Some people have relatives that they speak to. Some people believe in guardian angels. Call them in. But I use the divine for protection just because that protection is the strongest and seals off the most. Some people choose to work in the white light. If you're comfortable, more comfortable saying that. Just protect me in white light. And then I like to call on your higher self. So some of us don't even know who our higher selves are or what they look like. And so it's good to get to know your higher self. So we all have like a soul. We all have a mission, a purpose here. We can tend to forget it in these bodies. And so your higher self is like over you and can remind you of higher truths and higher knowings that, you know, future you, healed you, had access to. So I like to call in everyone's higher self. At this point too, if you're a nature person, you can call in trees, you can call in, you know, animal spirits, whatever is natural to you. We all have different lineages. Right, so we're going to practice picturing white light. We're going to call it in. So we call on Reiki, we call on universal healing energy, we call on God, we call on white light. To come down into our crown chakra. We're going to try to picture this. And if you can't picture this right now, then it's okay. It comes with practice. Please keep trying. We're going to ask that it be pulled down into our face, into our throat. And we are going to picture this white light extending out of our shoulders, out of both of our arms, and out of our hands like a faucet. So we're going to sit together here, and we're going to try to imagine white light, whether it's balls of white fire in your hands or white light pouring out, whatever you're seeing with your eyes closed. Picture that and hold that. Now we're going to try to start feeling it in our hands. So we're going to imagine this. Can anyone feel any tingling or anything in their palms? So we have about 15 minutes. So for the next 10 minutes, we're going to work on conducting Reiki energy to ourselves, to our heart centers. And then the last 5 minutes, I'm going to use to ground us all. And we'll learn how to cut cords and all of that. So if anyone wants to enact their symbols, you can pick a symbol if you want to try one. And you can draw that 3 times, either over your heart space right now or over one of your hands. And I'm actually going to go around and just hold the bottom of your hands. wild. So I put it to master level of Reiki. So any transfer I'm giving you right now, how do you feel pretty good? Probably get some information coming through. And someone is not wanting to. So with our feet planted, we're seated, picturing roots growing out of our feet, grounding. It's going deep into the earth. We're going to focus again on the white light coming through our heads, our throats, our chest, out of our shoulders, out of our arms, out of our hands like a faucet. We're going to try to feel this in our hands for a second. Tap back in. We're slowly going to move our hands while feeling this energy to our heart. Now you have a choice to put it directly over your heart. For some of you that are more sensitive and feeling this energy flow, you can even practice outside of your chest, because you can reach from there. So follow your intuition, trust yourself. And we're just going to send this white light into this part of our chest. Just going to breathe it in and out. I'm going to be silent. And you can spend time with yourself here. Just picturing through imagery the white light pouring in. You may get some messages or feelings. Some of you might see colors or shapes. Don't try to figure anything out. Any emotions, memories, maybe things you haven't thought of in a while might come up. We're not trying to figure them out. We're just letting them surface and flow. And in your own time with this, for sure, you're going to want to journal by you. So when you come back, you can write down the things that you saw or any messages you received. Also, you can shift your mood in this space. When you're in this space and you start thinking of things you're thankful for, instead of the things that hurt us, or the good things, things that make us feel proud, things that make us happy. When we sit in this state in our heart, we actually draw more of that to us. So if you want to try to pull something you're thankful for, even though there's, a lot to not be, it's good to challenge yourself to put your energy into what's working. Maybe a person that impacted your life positively. And in our heart space, we can also deal with some harsh trauma at times when we go deep. You sit here for a while, you start understanding that people hurt people. Senses of shame and guilt are lost in this space. We can deduce and understand really deep wounds in this heart space without spiraling out, because we're not in our heads. So I'm going to take these last couple minutes to teach you how to ground. So we're going to take our hands, and since you're seated, I'm going to grab myself a chair. Place your hands just directly on top of your knees. And in the next class, I'll teach you more how to work on other people, and how to send Reiki. But for now, before you do that, it's good to really align yourself with this. So in tradition, you're not supposed to work on anyone else until you do a 21 Reiki day cleanse, which means 20 minutes of Reiki a day for 21 days. And then you are allowed by tradition to Reiki other people, but they say within that 21 days, there are things you also need to clear before you, help others. So we're gonna close our eyes. If you want, you can practice doing the Reiki symbol over your knees, which is 1, 2, 3, and swipe. You can do that 3 times over your knees if you want. And just picture the swipe light going into your knees, into your shins, down your ankles, feet, and all the way into the center of the earth. And in closing out your session, again, I'd like to say that when you're practicing on your own, you can take each chakra point system. It's a good place to start. And at this point, when you're closing, you would ask that all cords be cut so that, you know, anything you attach to, whether this is a memory or things that you don't carry it with you out of your session. And at this point, I like to thank my guides for being here. Thank the divine, thank God, thank source, thank your higher self. Slowly tuning your breath, start coming back. Really wiggle your toes and fingers. And lastly, but at your own time. And at this point on your own home, make sure you drink water. Make sure you know, write anything down, which is a physical expelling of things that need to come out. I do want to say that after working with me, after doing these things and plugging into this energy, your dreams may become more vivid, which is okay. But during a Reiki cleanse or when you're doing Reiki every day, you're going to start releasing some things in your sleep that are either too time consuming or too stressful to release in the day. So you might see someone that you haven't thought of in years in your dreams tonight. Don't look too far into it. A lot of it's just releasing anything that's blocked up. You may get some messages from things you experience, but that is a normal part of this. I believe that there's a lot of messages that can be helpful in waking life that we receive overnight. That concludes everything. I up here cut cords with all of us, so we're all separated lovingly, respectfully, regrounded. At this point, does anyone have any questions for me?
I'm wearing regular cold shoes. It's very difficult. It's more difficult to.
Yes, that's very true. So a lot of the things that we are normalized in society are low key here, in my belief, to keep us blocked from our, a lot of the things you wear are energy blockers, and it's really weird to find that out.
What else is that? I've heard mostly about the shoes. Are there other things?
I mean, plastics can get pretty wild in general. They talk about, chemicals in the water, and I just suggest everyone do their own research because I'm deep into that, and everyone's going to find their own. But this is also why I rely on, spirituality is why I believe in God, is because there is so much stuff around keeping us either unhealthy or blocked that I can't catch it all, right? So I'm like, you got me? Yeah, so, but you're right. And so it's not a make or break, or, if you're getting messages, you'll get them, but you will notice that if you eliminate these certain things, that your messages will become more potent or clearer, and you will be like, wow, that's really a thing.
Okay, so since we can go without wearing rubber shoes a lot, but when we do our Reiki, we should make sure we don't have them on.
So you can have them on, but I will say you will channel better. You'll probably get stronger imagery and all of that if you do take them off in that moment. Another tactic to do, though, if you have to wear your shoes in that moment, because most of the time people aren't cool with the public kickoff, earthing. So in your free time, barefoot on the earth, which is so, but 5 minutes a day actually gets you more in touch with the earth. So in times that you can't ground, you're actually more grounded than the average bear because you've been doing it in your free time.
So saying that if you
Don't wear any shoes at all. Grounded.
Yes, connecting with nature.
I see today. This is,
Right, so you can see how I can't be very strict with one, I have learned on this journey that, as long as we're working under one energy of God that is love or that creator, people in this region are going to receive the messages, the stories differently. They're going to call it a different name. And so if you look at it like that, it starts making a lot of sense. Yeah, you're right.
even the symbols like show.
Chokure.
Yes,
Yes, it is. Yep, and you get into like, oh, she was just talking about how this is aligns with practices of Buddhism as well.
It's about science.
This is what I'm saying is everyone wants to separate spirit and science, right? But science is here to explain spirit. I mean, you study science enough, it becomes spiritual. Felt. Okay, yeah, I can go over actually some stuff with you. I can write it down. Yeah.
I always say spirit because I think, well, what else is gonna be missing? I never know what's.
Is it stuff you need, like that inconveniences you?
Yeah, well, some of it has returned like a couple weeks later.
Yeah, just messing with you. Yeah, you just need to, that's what it feels like. So just protection. I mean, I pray that I'm protected, but I will give you also some visualization techniques and you can send out protective energy. So once we learn to conduct, we can conduct Reiki, we can conduct, protection, we can conduct, whatever we're intending. All right. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Bring your hands forward a little bit.